29.
28.
27.
26. 25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14. 13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2.
1. 0.
What's going on, guys? Hang on a second. Let me get done playing with this. What did you do, Ethan? What did you do? Oh, I've got to finish pouring my beer. We are having a special beverage this evening, and we are going to have my favorite beer in the entire world, Ebis Premium. And it is a very good beer. It forms an incredibly thick, frothy head. So what did you do, Ethan? What did you do? Did you get into the Maximat and realize that you didn't have the sharpening chops for it? I did it once, and then I took my time and I taught myself. What's up, Gunther? 999. I found that just scrolling around the internet. I was like, I wonder where let me see if I can find a cool countdown. I didn't want to have to make my own. And I just happened across that one, and I was like, that is pretty funny. Today was not a bad Monday. And I think a lot of it was just because I didn't know it was Monday. Let's get the rest of this in here. So this is like $4 a can. Oh, it is so good. This is my favorite beer in Japan. We go to, every time I go home to Japan, to my in-laws' house, we go to the brewery museum. I have all kinds of stuff from there. I have keychains and trinkets and all kinds of stuff. No joke, though. The best beer, in my opinion, hands down in the world. And the last I looked, it was like almost $100 a case here in the States. It's pretty good. This is my third one. My father-in-law got it snuck into the wife's luggage and snuck 30 cans of it. There's a bunch of it over there. There's 4 of them in the refrigerator. I'm drinking them very sparingly. It's a lot like that really expensive scotch I had one time. The last glass of that we drank when my best friend found out that on the day that his son was born. Such a good beverage. This stuff is so good. Send it to me. I can always take care of it. I took care of his what was it? The XM24, and got it taken care of. I have no problem with that. And I will tell you, it's probably poorly ground. It's going to have to be completely reprofiled. I will tell you, it is always better to acknowledge that you can't do something than to ruin somebody else's stuff. I have been a big proponent of that. I've had knives come in and I say, look, I started on it. I can't do this. Either because it was poorly heat treated. It's always better to just admit you can't do it than to have to buy someone an expensive knife. So Sinister's here. Cue Ball can't stay. Unfortunately, I have midnight deadline for some work here. Hope everything is well. Mike, hope you're feeling better. The antibiotics seem to be working. The thing that I have, the abscess kind of thing I have, is definitely getting smaller. It's still kind of painful. It hurt to eat. And usually that's what does it, is I'll eat and then something will get down there and it just bothers me. And no matter what I do, then it's all irritated because it's kind of deep down in there. So I appreciate it, Cue Ball. Wife and kid are back. She brought back all kinds of snacks and stuff like that. But then I was like, it's been so cheap. They've been gone. Really didn't spend any money. The water bill was low. My wife did laundry all day yesterday. And I'm like, fuck, that's going to be expensive because all of their stuff was, you know, it smelled like airplane and airport and it stinks and she didn't like it. So, yeah, so there's a lot of line. And then she's like, we don't have anything. I was like, what do you mean we don't have anything? There's all kinds of stuff. Like we got all the food and stuff. She's like, no, you have everything you need, but there's stuff that your daughter and I need. And so they went to Costco and spent like $400 at Costco. I'm like, gee, great. Thanks. I actually filmed something. I haven't edited it yet. And so I'm going, don't overwork yourself. Yeah, the dog was in such a good mood. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to try something this week, and it might be something that I have to remove from the member stuff. So I had someone tell me, like, okay, are you putting up videos that are up for days prior to them going up? And I was like, sometimes they stay with the members, and they're like, that's why you're not getting traffic. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, that's one of the perks of being a paying member. And they're like, you probably want to stop doing that. Now, this is somebody that has significantly more viewers than a lot of channels in the knife community. More viewers than Jared, more viewers than Nick Shabazz, almost as many viewers as Somniome. And he was like, you put up a video the day of. He's like, even if you've got it recorded, he's like, don't put it on YouTube. We're going to see. Because if I put up a video and it sits for like 48 hours for the members to see, YouTube sees that as 48 hours with only 6 views. They don't care that it's listed only for the members. And I understand that's a perk that I set up. But for the benefit of the channel, we may have to revisit that. We're going to see. I'm going to do an experiment this week. So I do have tomorrow's video already done. It's not going up till tomorrow morning. I didn't see a big difference today. But all those things that like the algorithm sees that, it was he uploaded this video 2 days ago and I only got 8 views. It doesn't matter that it hasn't premiered yet. The algorithm only sees that, and that all those little things start pounding you down the algorithm. And the further you go down the algorithm, the less that it's like, okay, well, he's further down the algorithm. We're not going to share this video with people. So we're gonna try that and see, because I'm not going to tell you who it was. It's a relatively large channel coming up on 1 million subs. Reached out and was like, you know, there's no reason that your channel should be doing as bad. Same thing as Somniome did. Reached out and told me, he's like, you should be, yeah, like you said, looking out for number one. Now, I have been watching a lot of knife content this weekend because I couldn't film. Saturday, the wife and kid came back. Studio was full. All this stuff was out here. We were doing stuff and we were spending time together, but I had a lot of downtime. And I watched a lot of videos, and I have discovered that there are okay, I don't like IPAs. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like IPAs. This is a 100% malt beer. There's no rice, just malt and hops. There's no rice. There's nothing sweet in this. It's beautiful. It's thick. It's got a good body. It's a little bit bitter, but it's not like an IPA. This is a perfect beer. You know what an IPA is? IPA. I've gotten to where I just realized, I was like, why did I drink these? I thought I was getting, they aren't good. They're not. I had a picture. I'll put it up. I'll show you the picture I'm talking about. I'll send it to my computer so that I can. Oh, but back to the knife thing. I saw, and as much as I like Sean, Blades and Fades, every time he deploys a knife, you don't need any wrist on this, but every knife that I see these people deploy, snap. I'm like, what are you doing? Most knives don't need that. And I've noticed it across a lot of channels. And I'm like, why are people wrist flicking? There's no need with majority of knives. There's no need to put any wrist in it at all. So BW. Yeah. This stuff is, like I said, $4 a can. There are more expensive beers out there. Yeah, Jared does it. And I'm like, man, I'm hesitant because like my Fair and Fortunes, you don't need to wrist flick those. And I've let people borrow them, and you see them in videos and they wrist flick them. You're like, oh God, it hurts me every time I see you do that. It's stiff. I'm not gonna lie, Aiden. That thing is stiff. So, man, this is so good. First thing I did when I started pulling us, it turned into the best Easter egg hunt ever. They were stuffed in socks. He had shoved them down inside my, I had some you shared at the forge once. Yeah, the Ebbis. Yeah, this stuff, it's so good. I only had like 6 or 8 cans and I got 30, but now no one can come over until they're all gone because somebody will want some. I'm only putting like 2 to 4 in the refrigerator, and that's like 1 a week. I don't have any other beer. I was absolutely like a child. I had videos of it. I deleted the videos. But this is here. Let me send this picture. No. Library. Albums. Recents. This is what I think of. Let me share this window. This is what I think of when Bob MTB, what's going on? I'm not going to look at anything tonight. I'm not going to lie, I'm tired. I filmed 2 videos today, edited one, pretty much edited the other, got everything set up for this live feed, sharpened 2 knives, and then cleaned up the garage once and put away the green screen and then broke it back out again. I'll look at it tomorrow, Ethan. I promise I'll look at it. So this is what I think of when I That's 100% true. That is 100% true. I talked to Cole today on the phone. That's these days I'm not gonna lie, there are some good IPAs. I used to like the Space Dust IPA, but I can't drink it anymore. They give me such a bad headache. Like if I have one, I have a headache. Like it triggers my little petit mal seizures. There's something in it that causes a petit mal seizure, and it manifests like a migraine, and I don't like that. So we're not doing that anymore. I made this today. Made a bunch of other stuff today, a bunch of thumbnails, stuff like that. How was that mashed cheese semen? That was funny. There's quite bubbly. This stuff is the oldest licensed brewery in Japan. I dislike beer as it is even seltzer. Sea Snake is great. Well, I appreciate that. That's kind of why I made it. I have somewhere around here, I've been carrying it a lot in my kangaroo pouch of my sweatshirts. That Bastinelli, but I think it's inside. I think my wife used it to open. My wife likes it. Opened some boxes and stuff that she brought back. There's a mosquito in here. I can see it. I'm glad you like it, Pat. I am glad you like it. Which one did you get? Did you get the all black version that's on Instagram? Where's my scimitar? Oh, my little pirate sword. Hang on, I'll get it. I got it. It's not mine. It's Nick Shabazz's. You can't have a pirate sword in your hand without a pirate hat. Thing is nuts. No, it does not come in a rainbow handle at all. It does not. It does come with black, green, and brown, which, well, that's the color of the EDC rainbow. So, I mean, they're all earth dirt tones. So, I mean, John, when did John get here? This is my Pirates of the Caribbean hat that I got at Disneyland years ago. And my wife has a set of Goofy ears that has the same thing and a big earring in it. So it's need a parrot. Dirk has a similar. I know I saw it at Blade Show West. And speaking, what's that Mike's name? Well, that's good old drunken Mike the Pirate. This is Sailor Mike right here. This is. I missed out at SHOT Show. Good times. Yeah, but I mean, it was that or, keep the house. So I figured, being able to pay my rent was an important thing. And I really don't think I missed out. I really don't, because I've gotten to go to so many other shows. I wish I could have seen either Carlos, but Carlos is, I'm going to go ahead and say it because he doesn't know it yet, but Carlos is going to come on the podcast one of these days before too long. I talked to Advanced Knife Bro today. We may be able to do something this Friday. I'm going to try and work something out with Bees. I'm going to try to work out something with Bees, Cole, and myself, and we're going to do an all Ohio boy live feed. Me, Bees, and Cole. I know there's some other Ohio knife channels, but those are the ones that I really get. Those are the guys that I get along with. I mean, technically, if you want to know the truth, me, Jared, and Cole, I think that group right there is those are the guys that basically I talk to. I talk to those guys almost daily. Like I talked to Cole on the phone today. I'm probably gonna get some stickers made. If you guys are interested in stickers, I need to know. First batch will be first come, first serve. I'm probably gonna get 100 of them, and I'm gonna sell them. And there'll be something that I sell through. We'll figure it out. I'll probably sell it somehow. First batch, and then if they do well, I'll get a second batch. And I mean, even if they don't, I will be. What happened? Even if they don't, I'll be adding them when I do sharpening. So, like I said, guys, don't forget, I do have a sharpening service. I think a lot of people forget that. It's the shop cat's in the house. The wife is back. I'm chopped liver. Like the cat and the dog were asleep on the couch with the wife, and I was completely ignored. We'll go ahead. We'll pull that picture up too. I'll show you guys that picture. Because I would call the dog and I would call the cat, and they just they wouldn't pay attention to the fact that I even existed. Ed's here. When did Ed Harrison get here? Hey, what's up, Ed? So we're going to send this to my MacBook, and we'll open this up and go ahead and close that one. So this is what I went to the top of the steps, and I was calling the dog, and I was calling the dog, and I'm like, what the hell? Shane's here. Sugar Shane. So I'm like, what? I was trying to get the dog to come up because I was going to wash the dog had gotten into something. And I was like, I'll just wash her front paws and her face off. Just to save my wife some trouble. And I tried to get the dog. I was like, why is the dog not coming? And I went out to the balcony above our living room, and this is what I see. I do not exist to them anymore. I'm not even a blip on their radar at this point. I no longer exist. But back to what I was talking about. Guys, if you have a knife that is stiff, I could see wrist flicking. This is back to what I was talking about. Man, I see some people on so many channels and they just wrist flick. And I'm like, God, you can't do that. This, don't need it. This don't need it. As a matter of fact, I haven't had a knife in years that required any wrist. And I'm like, that's why I'm kind of hesitant to send things to people. Like, I know Cole's not going to do it. So I'm going to send Cole. I'm going to send him like 3 knives and then send it back. I used this so much cutting up boxes and stuff here this week. Stuff that came with the wife, boxes and stuff, and just cut stuff up. I have to resharpen my Norseman. It has held up really, really well. I can Spidey flick a Sebenza. I think I've left-hand Spidey flicked this. Let me see if I can. Almost. Yeah, I can left-hand Spidey flick my Norseman, which is dangerous. Most times I'm real nervous about it. But Shane, did you get that knife? By the way, just asking for a friend. So I think that Ethan got Sebenza thumb. I think it's easy to do. If you don't know that a thumb stud on a Sebenza is a little bit different. Well, I'm just curious because I sharpened a knife for a guy here in San Diego, but we just couldn't meet up. We were both real busy and he already got his knife and I sent it off. If you don't have callous thumbs, a Sebenza can make your thumb sore. I'm not gonna lie, because most people think that they're trying to push into, and it's not. You're kind of just rolling it out. You're not flicking it. It's a different movement. What is this? Sorry. Oh. You have the perfect Benchmade to send me for sharpening. I'm curious now. I'm curious, Zach, what is it you're going to send me here? You tell me what it is. I'm going to look it up and I'll. What Benchmade is it? I'm going to get my laptop or my little keyboard here. Oh, Walt, I don't have my bell. I don't know where bell went, but Walt, ding, 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 ding. Sometimes I wish my existence was lost on most people. Also, here's almost 5 bones. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So once again, Zach, you tell me the perfect Benchmade you have for me to sharpen. And I'm going to look it up. Let me turn this keyboard on. I have a wireless keyboard because it's easier than reaching up here. And I forget that I have it. You tell me what it is and we'll post it. Benchmade Vector. Let's see here. Let me look here. Vector? Benchmade Vector. Hey, you know what? That's not a bad looking knife. If you want to know the truth, this is gonna sound weird coming from me, knowing how much I really hate on Benchmade. This, guys, not a bad looking knife. Let's share the screen. Share screen. I need my mouse and stuff out here, but I don't have it. My shoulder's all screwed up. And guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. We'll talk about this in a second. That is not a bad looking knife. I do not 100% dislike that grind on that. I mean, I could deal without the lock for the axis lock, the secondary lock. I could deal without that. You know what that reminds me of? That's got kind of a, I'm not gonna lie, that's got kind of a Terzuola vibe to it. It really, really does. That's got kind of a Terzuola. Yeah, kind of the almost disappearing flipper tab, blade shape, a little bit like a droopy, almost flaccid penis. The handles really have got a Terzuola look to them. I haven't seen that pocket clip. What's the pocket clip on it look like? Oh, yeah, that pocket clip would have to go, but not digging the pocket clip. I'd have to figure out something else, but it does not have a real bad we can stop sharing that. It does look phallic, but then again, so does this. If you want to know the truth, it looks like some sort of animal husbandry tool. Yeah, that Matthew Clay, what's up? Matthew's a paying member. So if you guys see, so I know that there's people here that watch that don't necessarily comment and things like that. Any of those guys that you see that have the cross swords next to their name, those are paying members. And the paying members, guess what? Tomorrow, no, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to do the live giveaway for the paying members of that. What was it called? The Cazador, the Artisan Cazador, that little folding Warncliffe. So Wednesday we'll do that. Wednesday will be the live giveaway. I'll grab it so you guys can see, because if you guys want to become a paying member and get in on these giveaways, that's what gets you entered, is becoming a paying member. Baseline and premium tier members are eligible. This edge, Jesus, that's what Jim Skelton said when I sharpened the first knife for him, and he was like, "Hey, I'll get it. You know, I've seen your edges. We've talked about it at shows," and I sharpened a knife for him, and he was like, "This is nice." And I was like, "Careful." And he's like, "Jesus." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I just cut myself." It's not a folding sea snake. It's way different. The lines and everything are different. Handle's way different. The blade profile is a lot thinner and longer. It's got, I mean, it's a Warncliffe. So, I mean, if that's what you're getting at, like, that's the only part of it. Like really, all Warncliffe blades look the same. So you could kind of say that this is like a skinny Master Blaster then. But yeah, this is what I'm giving away. We'll do it on Wednesday. We may have to pick another winner of the big Centros, or not Centros, the help me out here. The big long fixed blade, Dylan Mallory, the I'm at a loss. There, the CJRB. Yeah, there's a CJRB. This is an Artisan. What's that CJRB fixed blade? The good God, I can't think of it. No, not a beg letter. Beg letter is a Kaiser, Aiden. God, why can't I think of it? At any rate, that's what I'll be giving away. Yeah, the pseudo kitchen knife. Exactly. I just can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I may have to pick another one, not the Archeo. Archeo's a folding knife. Fixed blade. Havoc. Work with me. Stay with me. God damn it. I can't think what it's called. Celax. There you go. The Celax. Thank you, Todd. Thank you for that. Guys, if you haven't experienced the Emler Edge, it's worth every dime, and I don't know what it even costs. It's $25. That was significantly more than $25 because there was a lot of work that went into that. Where's Polly to control Havoc? I was like, I don't know. Polly's been pretty busy. Polly's been pretty busy between, you know, he's got a daughter that he shares custody with. He's got his channel. He's got, you know, he has an actual job and he's got family and stuff like that. So hang on a second. I need to prioritize this device because there's currently a lot more devices. My daughter has 4 devices total connected to the Wi-Fi. I'm like, why? I don't know why. So, no one controls. Did I burp? I'm sorry. Did I? I don't. Sometimes I do and don't realize it. I didn't even realize I burped. I'm that kind of guy. Like, my wife was always just like, oh my God, like, you don't care. Like you don't care that there's people around. Like, I'll go to the toilet and not like I won't close the door all the way and I'll take a leak right into the. My wife's like, can't you just pee on the bowl so it's not so loud? And I was like, pee on the bowl, it splatters everywhere. I pee in the water, it's in the water. But if I pee on the porcelain, it splatters everywhere. She's like, it's so loud. And I'm like, I'm peeing. I told everyone I was going peeing. I'll eat and I'll burp. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that in front of people. I'm like, what? Like they don't fucking burp? Fart in public? I don't care. Like it's not that I don't have manners. It's just 100%. I don't give a fuck. What blade steel would be the best investment for one of your edges? It's not so much the best investment. It's like, what knife are you going to use? Because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people have gotten my knives. They're gotten knives that I've sharpened, and those convex edges I do, they last longer. The water stones that I use, like I used some actual water stones on Aiden's knife. They get a different, they just cut different. I've got some knives here that I've got to put some really fine edges on. It just depends. Like if you know, what was this? Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm 47 years old. I'm more inclined to do it. If I'm at somebody else's house, I am polite and I won't do those things. But if I'm at my house and somebody gets upset of something I did in my house, guess what? Fucking front door is right there. Garage door is there. You can just get the fuck out of my house. I kicked some people out one time, and I kind of upset my one buddy. I kicked him out of my house. They walked in, and like, you are welcome. If you're my friend, you are welcome to anything in my house if I've offered it. And his wife walked straight in and just opened the refrigerator and started helping herself. And I was like, you got to fucking go. And he looked at me. I was like, you need to get your wife and get the fuck out of my house. And he's like, what? And I was like, no one walks in my house and just opens my refrigerator and starts going into town. No one opens anything in my house. You are welcome to anything in my house. I will give you anything. I'll give you my last anything I have. If you walk in my house and let yourself and help yourself to my shit without permission, you got to go. And I kicked him out, and he was like, I don't know if we can be friends. I'm like, I guess we can't be friends then. But there's just some things you don't do. That is the rudest thing you could do to somewhere. Growing up where I lived, you do not walk into somebody's house and go to the refrigerator without being asked. You walk in my house, first thing I'm going to tell you is like, hey man, refrigerator's right over there. Whatever you want, help yourself. But if you go to the refrigerator before I've asked you or told you, I'm going to kick you out. It might sound simple. It might sound silly. But where I grew up, that's disrespectful. I'm probably going to have a second one of these. What did she intend to take? I don't know. She's probably looking for a soda but I just, like, my wife and I were still she went in first. And we were standing there, and I was talking in the foyer. My wife was there, and I hadn't said a word to my buddy's wife, and she went right to the refrigerator. And I was like, you got to fucking go. My bad. I've also told friends, I was like, their kids would come over, and they'd be acting like little assholes. I'm like, either you take care of that, or I will. Someone's going to beat that kid's ass. I'd prefer it was you. But if it has to be me, well, then it has to be me, because someone needs to get that little shithead off of my TV. What was this? Double castration. I just watched that the other day because I had watched Aliens, and I saw the dude that played the judge in Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. And I was like, Harry Dean Stanton. And I saw Harry Dean Stanton, and I was like, you know what I haven't watched in a long time? I have not watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And so as soon as I got done watching Alien, I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. What's this Todd Carr? What one are we talking about? I missed something. If I had to have surgery, I would want them to do it with this XMA. I told you that thing will cut without any warning. Like, it does not give, it's not like a factory edge, like, ooh, it's going to cut me, or hey, it's cutting me. that edge that I put on an XM18, you're like, it has cut me. Oops. I think my PlayStation just kicked itself off. I don't know which knife we were talking about. What's going on, Breeze? What's happening? Come over here from Jared. Is Jared doing a live tonight? Today's Monday, isn't it? But like I said, I had a really good Monday. Now, I don't want to ruin it by saying that everything went really, really well. I'm not going to go, man, what a great day. I'm not going to say any of those things. I probably just cursed myself by saying those things, but it was not a bad Monday. Mondays usually typically around here are pretty bad. Oh, you're talking about that Bob Terzuolo Benchmade collaboration. That's not a Bob Terzuolo though, right? Is it? No, God damn it. Now I got to go back and look. Benchmade Vector. Let's go here. Who's the designer? Benchmade. Liars. You are not the designer. You know you didn't design that knife. You saw a Bob Terzuolo Tonto and said, we're going to put a Benchmade logo on that. Triple click that subscribe button. Midwest Knife Club. What's going on? Not the Vector. What Benchmade? Wait, there's a Terzuolo Benchmade collab. It's the Park Avenue. Nothing. I'm trying to figure out what these guys are talking about. Somebody send me the name of it. It's what, the Park Avenue? Is it Benchmade Park Avenue? Hang on. Let me get this. Park Avenue? Benchmade Park Avenue. Let's see here. 2021. No. That's Blade Forms. I'm trying to find an image of it. Oh, that is one of Bob's designs, isn't it? Hang on. It doesn't say here. I'm trying to find a good one here. Guys, I can't see the comments. What you're saying here. I have no idea what you're talking about. I learned something today. If you drop a knife, do not try to catch it. Had to have stitches. Stabbed myself right in the hand. Same thing. Benchmade Park Avenue. Pre-production. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I'm trying to share that screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Chrome tab. It takes me a little bit. It takes me a little bit here. So this is the Park Avenue 710 out of 1000 pre-production Terzuolo design. I had seen this pre-production. That's definitely Terzuolo. It's a good looking knife. It's not a bad looking knife at all. Too bad it's a Benchmade. You know that it had to be sharpened. Yeah, but like I said, tomorrow we'll do not tomorrow. Wednesday we'll do the Cazador. I'm really tired, guys. I'm not sure if this is going to be a 2-hour live feed, by the way. I'm sleepy. Anybody else see anything cool? Anybody else got any cool ideas? I may have to go grab another beverage if you guys can hang out with Broccoli Skull here. I know what I wanted to ask everybody. I'm thinking that I want to make, like I talked with Cole, and Cole's going to help me. I'm thinking that this might wind up being one of the emojis. We're going to get some emojis for you guys, so that when you log in, you can post up emojis. The paying members can. You'll have access to them. I just don't know how to do it. What steals the Cazador? ARRPM 9, I believe. I do believe it's an ARRPM 9. Broccoli face, ugly. Yes, ARRPM 9 on this Cazador. This is the ARRPM 9 Jade G10. It is not a bad looking knife. Let me fix this virtual background. I got it a little bit. I don't know what my wife and daughter are jawing about. It's oh, it's green enough that you can see. That's what it is. It's just got enough green that the background tries to come through. Jade G10, blue pivot collar, pocket clip, pivot collar. This is a nice little knife. I used it lightly and it did really, really well. This thing is, I'm not gonna lie, this has a very aggressive factory edge. ARPM 9 at that coarse factory edge grit is really sharp. Like, it is really nasty aggressive. Spyderco stovepipe. Well, that's another one I gotta look. I have not looked up a Spyderco stovepipe. I sharpened a knife for a customer and it bit me. Barely even touched me. I barely even touched myself. I was touching my thumbnail to see if there was any spots that skipped. And I'm like, have I apexed it? And I was like, because you can't feel the burr at high grit. And I was like, let me just see on my thumbnail. I'll just give it a quick thumbnail test. And I just touched the tip of it to my thumb. And I was like, yep, that's good enough. That'll do. That will do. Let's pull up the stovepipe. We say it's the Benchmade or Spyderco stovepipe. Well, let's look that one up since we're all here doing this. I think this is the one that NAF Sergeant had. Yes. God, Jesus. I can't. Okay. So NAF Sergeant put this up. He was talking about it. He got one and I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, military and first responders, you get 50% off. He paid $300 for that knife. That is what? What do you need? Yeah. The longer you sit and just sit there, the worse it. The camera is right here. Like, you're not even in front of the camera. Kid, just what are you looking for? It's right up on the top shelf. Where's the one that you had borrowed before? Because that's my good one.
Sorry, I bothered for no reason.
$600 for that. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's done well, yeah, I'm sorry. No, I can't. I just can't. I cannot fathom $600 for that. I just can't fathom $600 for any Spyderco. And everybody's going, well, it's a 20 CV. I make a full-size fixed blade handmade in 20 CV for $600. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Anyone know where you get True Dawn hardware? I do. It's a company. Their name is Microtech. Where did I put my knife? I haven't done this yet. I still haven't. I have not prioritized this device. Microtech. I would. It's just selling for $420. Still about $120 more than I would want to pay for it. One of my fixed blade customs in 20 CV with handmade handles and custom heat treat that's coming out about 65 Rockwell 20 CV with a hand edge and, you know, made to your specifications with the handle material and stuff like that is only between $600 and $800. Like, that's ridiculous. I just cannot understand what goes on in the heads of people at Spyderco. Your knives are not that good. If you want to know the truth, they never really were. I liked them because they were easy. I mean, like, fuck. So if I wanted a kitchen knife laser thinness in a folder, where would I? Peter Rossetti, or not Peter Rossetti. RJ Martin. I mean, you're going to pay out the ass for it, but RJ Martin, that's that's what you're gonna find. Let's see here. MacBook Pro, prioritize this device. That's what you're gonna find. An RJ Martin, the thinnest I've started, like the thinnest, lightest knife I've ever handled was an RJ Martin that was on John Gray's table. But I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna pay a lot. Like, they are not cheap at all. Microtech hardware, I would say reach out to Microtech, tell them, hey guys, I lost a screw or I lost this. Just tell them, like, hey, I don't know what happened. Their customer service is great. It's great. Now, the whole thing is Potater 33. If you've got a knife, if it's already relatively thin, you can lay the angle back. I do it all the time. I can get you a knife. If you send me a knife, I can lay the edge back and I can make it cut way, way better. Case in point, I don't have it on me. Jared and I both have laid the angle back on that Miguron knives, Valona. We've both changed the angle. I've got it a full convex now. Jared had his fairly thin. I kind of followed his angle. I thinned it out just ever so slightly more. I've taken several grits. That thing is a fucking laser, and it's not real thin. It's not real thin. Hang on a second. I'll go grab it while I grab my other beverage. It's been almost an hour. I'm trying. I don't want to drink too many of this. At $4 pop, it's expensive beers. It's like shooting a Castle 454. So yeah, guys, hang on a second. It's actually back here. It's actually back here, and with it was the thing. My father-in-law knows how much I love this beer. So yeah. Am I still allowed to make custom sea snakes? Yes, I can still make custom sea snakes. Problem I have is I don't have all of the contact wheels that I need to do that. So anyway, so this is that Miguron knives. This thing is not a dainty thin knife. It's not super thick. I'm not gonna, this thing cuts like a laser. This is one of the best cutters I've had in my collection. Jared actually gave this to me. You want to talk about a great dude. Jared sent all these knives over, and I was like, bro, I like this Miguron. I was like, there's a chance I wasn't trying to keep it. Like I was telling him, I was like, there's a chance when I send this box of knives back to you, I'm going to hold on to this one and send this one back with the next batch. And he goes, just keep it. I was like, bro, you don't do that. You don't have to give it to me. It's like, no, honestly, keep it. And I was like, I'm not going to argue. And so now I have a Miguron knives Valona, and this is a great, great knife. But what I was getting at is, if you look at the edge bevel, this is a fairly wide edge bevel because it's a fairly thick knife, and that convex just brings it right back. So it goes all the way back, and it just pulls material away from itself, and it slices great. You don't necessarily need a thin knife to slice, because the problem is you get a knife too thin, and then it won't hold up against thicker material. When you start cutting softer things, cutting like potatoes, meat, and things like that, it'll want to stick. And then you get all that. When you have a little bit of a thicker knife and it comes to an apple seed grind at the very front and then continues down, it pushes the material away from itself and it cuts better. So not necessarily thinning the knife is always the best idea. You can actually get to a point where, yeah, a thinner knife typically will slice better in a lot of scenarios. But if you're like cutting cheese or potatoes or something like that, where there's some vacuum, a thinner knife might not be. Thicker is going to crack it. Thinner isn't always the best. You know what I mean? I like to test knives. If we have fresh apples, one of my favorite things to test edge geometry and blade geometry to see if they're good is just cutting an apple, cutting little pieces off an apple and eating it with a knife. If it starts to roll the apple up and crack it, it's a little thick, or you need to lay your angle back and convex it so it cuts. Sometimes on it, this does okay with an apple. You know what does great with an apple? This does incredibly well with an apple. This is that Offspring that this is a gift from Eric Oakes. I let someone borrow this. They used it, resharpened it, and they changed the entire profile of the blade. It's way straighter now. I don't know what they did, but this had a lot more belly. It does not have it anymore. I don't know what they did. I had to fix it. I loaned this to someone and they were going to do an Instagram post and video about it. They used it and then sharpened it. And I don't know if they just couldn't get it sharp or what, but they completely reprofiled. That's way straighter and thinner than it was. I was like, how much fucking material did you take off my knife? And I still had to fix it because it was really blunt. I think they were trying to go too blunt and just took all the material off of it. So I'm really upset about that. It's still, don't get me wrong, it still cuts great and everything like that. I can't seem to dull this fucking Maximat. You know why? Because it is the only thing it's the only steel that pretty much is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. You can't cut it on sapphire. You have to cut it with diamond. That's why you're not gonna be able to. I laid the edge on my Mordax too. Mine is an original old school in-house. Oh yeah, that's right. So this glass shows you how to pour this beer. This is a glass for us. It has the different steps of how you pour it. It's a multi-stage thing. I use my case at work for cardboard, carpet, line, shit like that. Stuff I usually use a razor for not needing use. I'll tell you what, if you want a good thin knife, case knives, yeah, there's a good one right there. Case knives actually are pretty thin and like to slice and cut pretty well. So here, first step is you pour a 6 and 4. So this is how you do it. And then you let that rest for about 30 seconds. Yeah, it takes some time, but you got a Warney. You got a Warney Maximat Manix too. Yeah, you can sharpen as long as you have diamond stones. You can sharpen it. Some diamond stones work better. I find that the Matrix diamond stones don't do as well on Maximat as the Vinev stones do. But you don't get as clean and crisp of a finish. So what I did was I did the Vinev up to 1,000 and then the 2,000, their 2,300 grit stone for the Edge Pro Diamond Matrix stones. That's what I used to finish the last Maximat I did. What beer is that? That is a beer called Ebis. It is the oldest existing brewery in Japan. And so now we're here. And we poured there. We let that rest. Yeah, it is so good. Like I said, we go to the brewery and we go to the brewery and the museum every time I go to Japan. I love it. You guys want to watch the video of that? Maybe Havoc if you've got the right diamond stones. I would say that you would be much better off. To tell you the truth, not trying to be an asshole. I've seen so many people screw up so many knives. You would probably be better off to send it to me. I don't like the Maximet or the Vinev stones just did not come out the way I want, but I have old school Vinev stones. I have some of the original ones. I have the 2300 grit diamond matrix stones from Edge Pro. They do great to finish that, and it gets an aggressive. I just sent that Maximet one back off. So it's, you know, it's pretty good. I told the guy, I was like, if this edge does not hold the way you want, exactly like you said, depending on how hard you use your knife, you may want to send it back to me and we'll just drop it down. I was like, don't let it get to the point where it's all nasty and gnarled up. I was like, if you send it to me for like $5-10, I can just take it down in grit and just clean it up and we'll see how that holds. Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. This beer does not taste right when you just pour it out of the glass, or pour it if you don't use the glass. If you don't use a glass, I should say. And there you go. That's the proper way to pour it. Full on draft head. Oh, it's so good. That is the best beer in the world, in my opinion. No, I'm only have two. That shit's like $4 a can. The cheapest I found it to get it delivered was $88 a case. So I'm not planning on drinking that much of it. I'm gonna drink it slowly. It is so good. Just ever so slightly. There's just like a sip left in the can. If you don't pour it in S45 doesn't seem to sharpen too badly. I didn't have any problems with it. I sharpened knife. Forgot this is how my edges are. I just barely touched that knife. It barely hit my skin and it's still bleeding. Like I just barely touched myself with it like an hour ago and it's still bleeding. And you got to be careful. Guinness takes 11 or 100. Yeah, properly. Well, that's probably about right. Today, Junior. I've tried drinking it out of a can. It just does not taste the same. It does not taste right. And you don't need this specific glass for it. Like I have that glass just disappears. It's almost like isn't that weird? How some things just like you can't see the glass at all. So, oh yeah, my brother came up on it's rumored to be going at $200 a case. That is just ridiculous. Now, I mean, this beer is expensive in Japan. It's not cheap in Japan, and that's why like anytime we go to Japan, I get like a case of it. That's it. I have some glasses that are specific for it. This is the glass that they give you at the brewery when you go through the tour, because it's owned by the Sapporo Brewing Company. And so that's the Kyushu Brewery that we go to. That's where the museum and everything is. And so they make them both there. But yeah, it's the oldest consistent running brewery in Japan. You know what? Okay, so Dave, I think I mentioned this. My in-laws never treated me any different than they ever treated anyone else. Matter of fact, my in-laws treat me. My in-laws have always only ever treated me as like one of their own children. And so it was kind of cool because they don't look at me any different. So I'm lucky. I've got friends that married Japanese women and they're like, oh, her parents won't even talk to us. Like they wouldn't talk to her for the first year after we got married and stuff like that. And I'm like that is ridiculous. Like, so, and there's other weird, okay, you ready for this? There's some weird things about Japan. So I'm going to say this and it seems strange. There's a big thing about like going to the bathhouse. It's a Japanese thing. All guys go in a big group. They go to the bathhouse and everybody's like, you're going to go take a bath with a bunch of other dudes. No, there's showers. So you shower off and then you cover yourself up with a towel unless you're American like me. And you're like, this is the biggest I've ever been. And so you're walking around with a towel on your shoulder and you're like, oh my God. At any rate, Double D, what's up? You go to the bathhouse and it's like a community thing. You sit in these, you soak in these tubs and there's whirlpool tubs and there's cold baths, there's steam rooms and all that shit. And it's just like a community thing. So you'll sit and talk. And so you'll have your pass to go in and out of the bathhouse. There's beer machines. You'll go back into the locker room area and you'll sit down with your towel and you drink a beer, or you'll drink a beer while sitting at one of the pool baths and just all this stuff. And it's just a big community. It's like a men's club. And then there's a women's side, and then there's a bar outside and a little restaurant. And so you go into the bathhouse area, you'll take your bath and you'll do that. And then you go out and you have a few beers. And if you want, you pay like $100 and you go back in and into the bathhouse area and stuff like that. And we'll just lay on these tatami mats and drink beer and watch TV and just get away from our wives. And it's just a thing. So when this one guy was like, I don't think my father-in-law likes me. And I was like what? He goes, yeah, I don't think my father-in-law likes me. And I was like, how many times has he ever taken you to the bathhouse? I was like, how many times have you ever seen your old man naked? And he was like, your father-in-law naked. And he goes, what? And I was like, how many times has he taken you to the bathhouse? I'm joking. It was a joke, and he goes, never. He's like, he grabs my brother-in-law and my wife's sister's husband, the other son-in-law, and they go to the bathhouse, but he never takes me. And I'm like, oh, he don't like you at all. Like, if he doesn't invite you to the bathhouse, he doesn't like you, because it's a community thing. It's a family thing that you all do together. It's some of the best times I've ever had. I'm trying to block this guy. I'll just put him in timeout. Yeah, onsen. But this isn't an onsen. Like the onsen is like an actual hot springs. I'm talking like the neighborhood bathhouse. And people are like, isn't there a bathtub like at your parents' house, at your in-laws' house? And I'm like, yeah, there's a tub. But like, this is like literally some of the tubs are as big as this. It's like a pool, a really hot pool with minerals and shit. You just feel relaxed. It's so relaxing. It is like, it's one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. As a matter of fact, every time we go to Japan, the first question I ask, like, how soon can we go to the bathhouse? Like, can we go to the bathhouse tonight? Like, we just landed and just showed up at my in-laws' house. I'm like, I want to go to the bathhouse because it's relaxing as hell. It's such a weird, and having lived in Japan for 13 years, I realized that I basically took on board a lot of those cultural things while I was there. But yeah, it's definitely something fun. But we were here to talk about knives and not wrist flicking knives. Guys, I did the EMP. I'm not going to go get it. It's inside. I did the video. Is it, or is it right there? No, I took it inside. I did the video about the EMP Nimble today. I haven't finished editing it, and I don't know. There's usually a little bar in a restaurant. I like that knife. I'm going to tell you right now ahead of time, like if you guys watch the video tomorrow, and like I said, I'm trying a little experiment that was recommended to me by someone else. So there's not going to be any early access videos, I don't think, this week. Even if they are done, I'm going to wait and I'm going to upload them that day and set the premiere someone told me something. Jared, I was going to tell you this too. This could be one of the things you're doing right, even though YouTube recommends you do things like this. At any rate, that EMP Nimble, there's so many knives that guys like me and Jared and Cole and everybody get in. We get a lot of these production knives, and they're all good. Don't get me wrong, they're all good. Sometimes they're better than good. This knife at its price point, way above average. This Miguron Valona punches way above its weight class. But most of these knives are just so plain. I mean, they do everything. They're really good. They're good knives, but they're just, and so, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them are great. Like I said, this one borders on great. But then that Nimble comes in, and every once in a while there's one that just really pops, and it's just so good that you're like, all right, you got something here. Like this is good. This is beyond good. This is great. And those are the ones that pop. And even though it's still just a production knife, it is so well thought out. Even though it doesn't fit my hands great, like I still love it. It is a great, great little knife. And I hope you guys all watch that video tomorrow, because that is an amazingly well thought out, well designed, well executed knife. And I mean, QSP does good work, but I think a lot of that quality has to come with it comes from the fact that the designer was real picky about what they were going to accept, which has a tendency to force a company to step outside of what they typically do and do things that are better. But that EMP is one of those knives that is going to stand out to me for the year. Like, I'm going to hate to have to send that back to Lefty. It is really good, regardless of the fact it's not a great knife for me. Even though it's not a great knife for me because of the size of my hands and the size of the knife, it stands out as one of the best design knives and best executed knives I've had come in a very long time. And I say it in the video, sometimes production knives can feel like karaoke. Like when you go to karaoke and someone's singing, like all the lyrics are there. He's hitting all the notes. And then you get somebody that's a professional singer that sings that same song, and you're like, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. There's just a little bit more to it. There's something beyond just all the parts in their entirety that's there. There's more to it. It pops, man. It pops, and it just makes you want to mess with it and carry it. I took it out of my pocket because I already did the review, and I had to. I did the review so quick because I've got so many other things. Like, I have only done 2 of the knives that Jared sent me. I've got so many more. Yeah, I'm trying to get with Lefty and see if I can get on the list to get that one that Cole has right now. But it is so good. And I mean, the larger one. And the thing is, like, the thing about that large one is it has the full fuller. That is the thing that I found most attractive about this knife, is that fuller goes all the way up. My Riat Horizon D fuller goes all the way the length of the blade. And I'm like, I'm starting to see something here. The fuller on the EMP Nimble, that nice round one, and then has the hole in it. It is amazing. Jared don't hit like buttons or buy knives. I bet he does. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try the large one. Ken Harris, it was the only one available. I had to get the review of it done and stop carrying it, or I wasn't going to get anything else done. Plus that Nimble has to go to someone else. That Nimble has to go to someone else soon. Where has Blood Groove been? There's no Blood Groove. It's a fuller. Mike's childhood crush was Rambo. No, my childhood crush was what's her name from Purple Rain and The Last Dragon. Fuck, what was her name? God, what was that chick's name? Jamie Lee Curtis, because before my parents realized there was any nudity in 48 Hours, I saw that when it's the only movie I can think of where Jamie Lee Curtis pulled her. No, not Prince. Gosh darn it. Not Prince, the chick, the girl. Vanity. That's what it was. Vanity. That was my first crush. Good God, I had a crush on that one. She's still so hot. Like I watched The Last Dragon the other day, and I was like, good God, that one. Yeah, Phoebe Cates, yeah. Yeah, Phoebe Cates, that was another one. There was a couple of them back then. So yeah, it was there's Polly. Everybody's been asking. Polly, everybody's been asking about you, bro. We were afraid that maybe yeah. So you guys know that Polly won a knife from me, right? This is hilarious. Actually, let me see here. Did you text? Is that something you texted to me? We're gonna watch it. I'm saving it just so I can show everyone. No, I'm saving the video. It doesn't have your address, just the video. Okay. All right, it saved it. So Polly won a knife from me, and then he said he didn't want it. You can't see it on the box. It's too quick, and it's too out of focus. You can't see it. That's why I was watching it again. So Polly sends this to me, and he's like, knife review. Let me watch it again before I share it. Let me make sure.
Yeah.
You can't see your address on that, bro. It's impossible. Especially. So at any rate, Polly, where's the newest one? Ah, crap. So anyway, I sent Polly the knife that I sent Polly a knife. He didn't like the one that I was going to show. So, share screen, open a window. Well, that's not going to work. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, guys. It doesn't always work the way I want it to. Let me see here. Okay, I see which one it is. I'm trying to find the video file 5.3. Okay, I see it. Share video file. So this is what Polly sends me. You guys ready? God damn it. Never mind. All that fucking time is like, oh, it's not a supported file. Here, let's just watch it on my goddamn phone. This is really getting annoying when I try to do stuff with StreamYard. I'm about to tell him, like, I'm gonna find another fucking streaming thing, because every time I try to share something, it's like, oh, that's unsupported. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, follow these steps. Really pissing me off. So at any rate, this is what Polly sends me. That was Polly's knife review. So anyway, the knife that he won, he didn't like. So I picked one out, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll take that knife. I'm hoping that he dug that out of the trash, because that could have went to one of you guys, and it wasn't a horrible knife. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to have to switch. I don't dislike StreamYard. It's just when I want to share something, it's just a pain in the dick. What was this? Honest knife review. That's not a bad knife. That's the knife you wanted. I hope you dug that out of the trash. If you don't send me a picture of you using that in one of your Instagram or TikToks videos, I'm going to send you something a lot more unpleasant because I have your address. Honest knife review. So, don't get me wrong, it's not a great knife, but it would have definitely been something I could have given away if you didn't want it. You don't have the cojones to abandon streaming. Here's the thing. I already paid for it for the year. I want to use it for the entire year. It's not that I don't have the cojones. I'm just like fucking Mike, read the last message. Where's your last message, Ed? Where's your last message, Ed? Well, Ed, I don't see a last message from you. Your last message is way up here. You got the stonewashed. I think I got the last one. That's the last thing I see from you, Mr. Harris. Purple heart, purple heart, purple heart, havoc. I don't see anything from you for quite a while, Ed. Yeah, Ed, I'm not seeing anything. Yep, I don't see anything. Aiden, ding, 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 ding. He's gonna trim those nose hairs that look like vines. Man, if that dude sneezes, he's gonna look like a party favor. I'm thinking, what the? Stop! You're scaring the children. Honest knife review. I don't know, Ed. I'm not seeing anything. Resend it, Ed. Can I sharpen swords? I can. Will I? No. I used to. I would have to. Here's the thing. I would have to buy all this. I'd have to buy the stand and everything. I used to have all that stuff, Ed. So back in the day, I took Japanese sword art, the sword martial arts, and I learned the cursory way to do it. And on some cheap swords, like it's like some really cheap, even though they had the blade geometry, they weren't just like wall hangers, but they were cheap. And I practiced and I got the technique down and all that. But you have to have the stand and you got to sit in it and you have to have the right stones and all that. And I took apart one of my handmade swords a while back, Havoc. Go find it. I took apart a traditional construction Japanese sword. Did I send him an NTAC? No, I sent him an M&P. I sent him an M&P assisted opening knife. So funny. No, I did it a few times, and it's just, it takes so much time and it's so expensive. And if you just do the edge on a sword, you're not doing it right. The geometry has to be exact and precise. And it's the equipment's expensive, the time it takes to do it. You basically you're in it for days. Every free minute of your time is spent doing that. Your hands hurt, your shoulders hurt, you're bent over this. It's just not worth it. It's just not fucking worth it. So no, I don't do that anymore. I sold the stuff. Go find a video, because you don't actually sharpen a Japanese katana, a samurai sword. You don't. You polish it. There's a technique to it, and it literally takes days. So before you open that cock holster of yours, you shut your whore mouth. I know what I'm talking about, because I studied that. I studied that technique to learn how to do my convex, Havoc. So you watch it. You watch it. You watch it. PKR, I can't be trusted. I use a knife. Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, Havoc, I'll email you a link to how they do it. Like it's a technique, and you do sections of the sword, and then you move your way down, and you do a section of the sword to get the convex, the edge grind, and all that, and bring it up to the apex and stuff like that. Now, like a European sword, a lot of times it's just like a straight edge, but European swords European swords cut just as good as Japanese swords. They weren't designed really to cut, because the armor and stuff that they wore in Europe, it was more of a thin edged impact tool. And so it didn't actually cut the armor so much as it just was a thin point of impact, and through chainmail that it would just follow through, and you still break ribs and cause all kinds of damage and stuff like that. So there's definitely different techniques to it, but I just won't sharpen anything like that anymore. It just takes too much. And I'm just like, do you know how I know you're gay? Oh no. Oh no, Matthew. I don't know how you know, because I'm not. That's the thing. 2A Dave, where you been, bud? The biggest I got's a K-bar. Okay, so there's some cases where an assisted knife is a good thing here. Joshua Wilson, this is an assisted knife, and it's for a reason, because that freaking scimitar, this Sinbad sword, that's a lot of blades you got to move. This I'm good with. I'm good with this one being assisted. That's a lot of blade to have to deal with. So don't forget, there's some people that have like dexterity issues and stuff like that actually is it's a good thing for them. Because I wear jean shorts. I don't wear jean shorts. Was hearing a wife complain about work and told her I needed a beer. Now I'm here. Cheers, sir. Uh-oh, what'd Gunter have to say? They should have anodized the pocket clip blue. Am I wrong? It's not anodized. That's I don't know what they did with that. I actually I don't find this knife unattractive. And like I said in the video, I've not done anything with a CRKT knife for so long, because I had one and it was a great little knife. And then their quality just went way downhill, but their knives were always kind of cheap anyway. So I really didn't think anything of it. And so when I got this one, I was like, oh, wow, this is more along the lines, the quality along the lines of what I would have expected years ago. And I don't dislike it. I think maybe they've stepped their game up a little bit, if not on all their knives, maybe a little bit. Jared thinks so highly of me. He sent me a SOG. There's some nice SOG designs. I just always had problems with the steel. I haven't seen a SOG in a long time. I never liked how they heat treated their steel. I thought their steel was always a little soft. So I have not looked at CRKT stuff. This is the first thing I've seen. I have not seen anything. But if their quality is up a little bit, I'm down with it. And I have some bad news. So the knife maker in Japan has been thinking about it, and we talked with him, and he's like, look, I have a 5-year waiting list for my knives. He makes kitchen knives. Super nice, folded steel, Japanese, like sword type construction with the sanmai and hand hammered and all that. And I'm kind of bummed about it, but he was like, if I have to train someone, it's going to take me at least 5 years more. And so, like, I'm not going to do it. He apologized, but he said that he just, at this point, realizes that he's almost 90 and he has 5 years worth of orders and he wants to get those done. And that means that he's not going to take an apprentice. So the sad thing is that that man's technique now dies, which is sad. So he told my wife, they called yesterday or the day before, and he was like, I just can't do it. Like if he wanted to come like a day or two here, I could do some stuff, but to take on a full-time apprentice means that I have to teach him full-time. And I was like, I get it. I'm just kind of really disappointed. And I'm kind of sad because his work is so beautiful. And the fact you're never going to see those again. No one is ever going to make knives exactly. No one's going to make knives like that again. No one will, because he's not going to teach anyone. When his son died, he basically, all that time that he had spent teaching his son died with him. And he just does not have the time at 90 years old to take on a new apprentice. So there's a Japanese knife maker who is super famous. His knives are stupid, crazy expensive. And he had a son that was his apprentice. Well, his son died. And so now there's no one to take on a legacy. And my wife and my father-in-law reached out, and we're trying to get this guy to take me on as an apprentice. And he was kind of on board with it for a little bit, but then he looked at being 90 and 5 years worth of orders pending. He's not going to be able to do it. So that line of knife making now is going to die. So yeah, I've seen, I think I know who you're talking about. He's 90 years old, and no, you can't learn it from a video. I'm going to tell you right now, the things that he does, it's done by feel, it's done by sight. It's like me. It's like sharpening for me. He's probably at a point where you can't explain it in a video. It's sound and feel. Like guys, when I'm sharpening, like I lay it out in the videos for you guys. When I'm sharpening, I'm not watching it. I'm listening to it and I'm feeling it and things like that. It's kind of the same thing with master knife makers. They can't explain what they want you to do. They have to have you do it. And when you get it right, it's like, that's what it feels like. That's what color it has to be when it goes in the quench. This is how many times, this is how far you cut in. This is what it's supposed to feel like when the hammer hits it. You cannot do that in video. There's no way. There's just no way to translate that to video. Making knives, I'm going to tell you right now, I could not do a video to tell you how to make a knife. There's just, you have to be able to feel it, touch it, and understand it. Even doing stock removal. Like, well, how much pressure do I use? That much pressure right there. That's like, that doesn't translate to video. You know what I mean? That's the way I used to get laid. I hate to think it, but you never know. No, it won't. I'm going to tell you right now, there's just some things you just can't. Yeah, exactly, Nick. You can watch 1,000 videos of firing pew-pews and go to the range and not be able to do it. It's all like stuff like that. But the thing is, like, he's 90. There's no way he's going to set up videos and things like that. He's the only person that could teach it. And there's just no way. It would be every bit as difficult on him time-wise to try and videotape it. There's just no way. And while I'm very disappointed, extremely disappointed in that decision, I can't argue it. Wouldn't it be better for more of those knives to exist? Because like let's say he takes me on as an apprentice, and in those 5 years, he doesn't make a knife and I still don't master the technique, and then he dies. 5 years worth of those knives are now gone. There could be 5 more years worth of those knives. I would rather have 5 years worth of those knives in people's hands than to take that from someone's enjoy. Like, it would be detracting from those people being able to have those items. You know what I mean? the whole thing is he would have to dedicate. Here's the thing. He would have to dedicate that time to teaching me versus making knives. Like he would have to be teaching me how to make knives and me fucking up material and wasting stuff and throwing stuff away and nothing actually going out. I understand where he's coming from. It'd be better for 5 more years worth of his knives at that level to go out and exist than to spend that time and then not be able to get those done. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching his videos, but I can't remember his name. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't argue that. Like, can you, I mean, that's dedication. The guy is 90 years. Oh, guess what time it is? Time for me to take my antibiotics. We're going to have to hold off on that for like 30 more minutes. Trial. What is trial? It's like too real? Like that's too real. So I don't know. When I go back, the next time I go back, I'm definitely going to make a trip there. I definitely want to. It's no different if the Higo no Kami's, the little folding knives, that's the last guy. He didn't take an apprentice. None of his kids wanted to do it. Couldn't find anybody that wanted to do it. All those little cool little slip joint knives, the Japanese, the Sanmai construction with a Hitachi blue steel, really famous, and they're cheap. There's only one guy that makes these. There's only one guy. It's like I had to go see I had to go see the Psycho the Rapist. Psychotherapist. Sorry, my bad. It's a gift. It was a gift from my wife and daughter. It was a Christmas gift last year. I have several Pittsburgh sweatshirts and stuff like that. Actually, I haven't taken any mood enhancing drugs now that after I left the government. I have not. One, I haven't had near as many issues because of the levels of things, and I also I smoke weed, and it seems to be so much better than the antidepressants they had me on. Poly needs lithium. Poly bleeds lithium. Poly needs lithium. Poly bleeds lithium. One way or the other. That's just how it would be. Either he didn't take it or he did take it. Shh. Yo. I thought it was VD. No. Later, Havoc. You have a good evening. Yeah, but like I said, I definitely want to go up there when I get a chance. I may be able to go back this summer with the wife and kid. Hopefully that construction project thing picks up so I can get some money. Hello, sweetheart. The wife is back behind the green screen. Pay no attention to that woman behind the curtain. It is so weird that like I reach back and it doesn't move. Like I would expect it to move. And I try so hard. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta get nice and flat. This thing is wrinkled as shit tonight. Hey, Spitfire's here. You live in Pittsburgh. I live about 90 minutes from Pittsburgh. I used to drive to Primanti Brothers down in the Strip District before it became a chain. Used to have to drive down to the Strip District to get Primanti Brothers, the original Primanti Brothers. I used to go down there every Saturday. It's like a 90-minute drive. I would go down. I'd leave hour and a half, 2 hours before lunch, get there before the lunch rush, get a little bit early. No, because when I was a child, I decided that I wanted to root for a team that could win a game occasionally. And I got news for you. The Cleveland Browns no longer exist. The Cleveland Browns you see now are an expansion team. The original Cleveland Browns, that's the Baltimore Ravens. So technically, if I was a Browns fan, I'd have a Ravens jersey. Don't forget, Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore, became the Ravens. It took moving to a different city to actually become a decent team. told my dad that. My dad was a diehard. My dad and I were not allowed to be at the same house if Pittsburgh and Cleveland were playing. My dad is a Cleveland Browns fan. And he, you know what? He fostered this. He bought me my first terrible towel. It was when I was a little kid and we had the Mean Joe Green Pepsi commercial or Coke commercial, whatever it was. And he throws him a towel. And I had the terrible towel, the yellow towel, had one of those. And he fostered this. And then when I got older, it turned into a thing where like the rivalry, we weren't allowed to watch those games together. Like I would have to go to our friend's house and watch the game, or we didn't watch it. So, yeah. So my dad, I told him that. He's like, well, you know, the Cleveland Browns. I was like, well, there are no Cleveland Browns. Yes, there are Cleveland Browns. I was like, no. Like the Cleveland Browns that you are rooting for now are not the Cleveland Browns you were rooting for before. And to tell you the truth, you honestly should be rooting for the Ravens if you're a diehard lifetime Cleveland Browns fan, because that's where they moved to. Because I don't know who these clowns are, but these Cleveland Browns. Kozar had a laser accurate arm and legs like wood posts. That dude could not, like if you rushed him in a pocket, you gave him pressure in the pocket. Like if his coverage didn't hold, he was fucked. Like he could shoot the man. It was like he could fire that football like he was firing a gun. Till the second you put any pressure on him in the pocket, and then you just fall apart because that dude could not run. Bernie Kosar, zero scramble from that dude. Like he could do nothing. Where's the towel? It's back home in Ohio with a bunch of, I still have a lot of things back home in our old house in Ohio. So it's midnight here. Got to get up at 5 a.m. Yeah, I realize that there's a lot of you guys that watch these live feeds that are on the East Coast and stuff like that. And you guys still stick around, and I appreciate it. Got Permane Brothers by accident when I was stranded in PA. It's good. It's so good. Such a good one. I don't like Ben. I'm a Browns fan. I'm not a Browns fan. I am a fucking Steelers fan, but I am not a big Ben fan. I never have been. Ben's most famous move is, hey, we're doing really good. Let me throw the ball to the other team and see what happens. Best quarterback the fuck Steelers ever had was Terry Bradshaw. Can't tell me anything different. Terry Bradshaw is a football god. I believe it when I see it. Tom Brady, they've talked about Tom Brady retiring. What is this? It's like 20. If he plays this year, this is his 22nd season, I think. Right? Like 22nd season. I haven't watched football since they started deciding that they wanted to kneel at my national anthem. If you want to watch football, it's fine. I just choose not to support it. But I do kind of follow it. I know that so Brady is like, what is this? 22 seasons he's been in the NFL. They've been talking about him retiring after like 12. Yeah, Brady is the GOAT. I do have to admit. Like I can't, like I want to argue that, but you know, he definitely is. Sorry, not in the sports ball. What's your favorite knife that's objectively bad? Well, it depends. Okay, so I have two of them. that are in my collection. And some people will objectively say they're not good knives. So one of them is because a lot of people don't like the pocket clip. So, pardon. Let me see. Let's look at it. I'm trying to think. Like some people are going to disagree. Okay. I don't like the M-Tex. The M-Tex stays over there. It stays in its box. It was a gift. It will stay here, but it stays in its box just so it doesn't contaminate everything else. I may vacuum seal it. The EXW, a lot of people don't like the double detent non-locking. I really, really like this knife a lot. It's not my favorite, but it's, objectively, a lot of people would say, well, that's just silly. I would say, if you're somewhere where you can't have a locking knife, you can carry this because it doesn't lock. It's basically a non-locking. That's why they call it the EWC. And then there's another knife that a lot of people are going to say, just because of the aesthetics, like a lot of people really, really hate that Chavez skull clip. I dig it. This is one of my favorite knives. It is, guys, so smooth. It is drop shut smooth once you get past the dummy ramp. So those two, like a lot of people are like, oh, that's too big, that's too bulky, it's too ostentatious. And I gotta admit, it's big, it's bulky at the tip, it's so thick, it really doesn't cut. But back here in a hollow, it's good and it's attractive. So those would be my two that I really do like a lot, that a lot of people are like, oh, those are just horrible. So yeah, this one, because a lot of it, I'm not gonna lie, it's beefy. That is a big, thick, beefy knife. Even without the pocket clip, it's already thick and beefy, and but I like it a lot. I carry it pretty often. And then, like I said, the EWC. And I have another one that a lot of people would be like, oh, that's a bad knife. And that's any Benchmade. No, I'm kidding. Where'd it go? A lot of people look at this and they're like, oh, that's horrible. That's hideous. That's horrible. That's ugly. And it's my Olamic Wayfarer. And yes, that pivot is green. That's why you're getting the elements of it's green and polished enough. I did a good enough job polishing it and getting it green that you can see the backdrop through it. There's other people that would say that this is a horrible knife. This is a great knife. This is an incredibly good knife. So I would disagree on that one. So double T-dent equals floppy fidget. I disagree. I use it a lot, actually. It's because it's nice and light. I can carry it, like, especially if I'm just wearing like a pair of shorts around the house, or when it was cold, I had my robe. I would toss this in the pocket of my robe. And this comes in handy for just little tasks, opening packages, opening mail, stuff like that. Nice little around the house pocket carry. And as long as you're using your knife correctly and pushing into the item with the edge forward, you're not going to cut yourself. If you happen to do it this way with the spine and try to cut with the spine, yeah, you can cut yourself. So you knew I was going to say Benchmade. Yeah, I was leading into that joke. I really do like this knife a lot. I know a lot of people find it, they're like, I don't get it. Go watch Pete's video about a slip joint. It's every bit as outdated. This is basically like kind of like a slip joint, but it flips. I like it a lot. Super light. That's one of the things I love about it. Yeah, you shouldn't misuse your knives. They come with a warning. When you buy a knife, it comes with a warning. So, guys, I'm going to end this here in just a few minutes. The wife and kid are getting ready to go to bed, so we got like 15 minutes. If it has a place to secure it with your thumb, like a tail or front flipper, I don't mind it. It's like all slip joints. See, yeah, this has. So when you put your thumb over it, the sarcasm didn't translate well. Oh, I knew you're being sarcastic. Trust me. I knew. That was also sarcasm on my part. Yeah, I think that's in my collection. Those are probably the only ones I would say that some people think are bad. Cut with the thin side. Yeah, Breeze. And then you got some things that people like, so this is like the penis knife. Where did you get a chia pet? That's not. Actually, one of you guys, you paying members, I put up a post and I was like, bro, can you imagine? This is like a thing. It is an epoxy. I go get it. No, I can't because it won't show up. It's an epoxy resin mold of broccoli with skull on it. And I was like, that is actually really cool. I put up a post. I was like, dude, that would be something that I was like, I should get this. I said something about getting it for the original plan was when we moved, I was going to set up the studio with like a set of shelves behind me and have stuff sitting. And it just didn't work out. There's just no place to really do that in this garage or in the house. And so I was like, I was like, oh, I should get one of these. What do you guys think? And put that on the shelf. And that showed up at my house. Like one of you guys that had been, it came anonymously. One of you guys bought that and sent it to me as a gift. And it's been on my workbench ever since. And now it's going to be one of the emojis because I like it. There's probably going to be an F everyone. There's probably going to be a cowboy shit. There's probably going to be a behoove you. But a lot of people don't like this knife. I love this knife. This is that, which one was this? This was the, not the Mordax. Shit, I can't remember what this one was. Clapper commercial. Cha-cha-cha-chia. Norseman or the Todd Begg Benghazi. Well, I've never seen the Benghazi, but I do have a Norseman, and I would have to say I like this. This will be Brady's 23rd year in the league if he plays this coming year. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's at 22. So shop cat emojis. Yeah, I'll probably do that too. What's my personal limit for using? This is like a $1,000 to $1,200 knife. I carry it daily. This is like my daily user. I don't think I have a limit. To tell you the truth, I don't think I have one. If it's a good knife, I'm going to use it. This is incredibly useful and comfortable and cuts well and stuff like that. And so like I'll use it. So I don't think I really have a limit. I mean, I have some knives I just wouldn't use. I owned a couple knives that are, in the same price range, but they were just so beautiful I wouldn't use them. This is a worker. This is a user. This was designed to be used. It just happens to be expensive. That's all. Hang on a second. God damn it. Now, are you talking about Minax? That's what it was. Thank you, Patina. Okay, now I want to make something clear. Not everything that has the Begg Knives logo is a Todd Begg, because some of them Todd never had anything to do with. So we're going to pull this up and we're going to see, what is it? The Begg, Bengatti. Todd Begg custom. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's definitely a Todd Begg. I think I like the Norseman blade. That's a nice looking knife. Here, we'll pull this up. That's a nice looking knife. And don't get me wrong, that knife I wouldn't use. That's a knife I would not use because it's just gorgeous. Look at that. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use it. It would sit in a safe, and then I would feel bad for having wasted it. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is a good knife. That is a good looking knife. Some knives cut better than other Breeze. Like I said, that's like this. This probably cuts better than 90% of the knives I own, because just edge, like this is super thin behind it. I need to get the calipers out and measure this. This thing is so thin behind the edge. It's great craftsmanship, but it does nothing for me. Yeah, that's something that would be in a display case. this is something I would carry. My Norseman, something I would carry. And like I said, this is basically just a good user. They are attractive. Don't get me wrong. The work that's done on them is really, really good. So, but this, no, I'm not getting, they're all the way up there and I'm almost done anyway. I want to go spend some time with I haven't got to see my kid in 2 months. She's getting ready to go to bed. So we're going to end this here in just a second. So, but yeah, Wednesday, guys, we're going to do the giveaway for the paying members. I have the knife out. I've got it all set up. I have to clean this mess up here so that so the garage is cleaned up. Shop dog emojis. I'll get some stuff put together. I'll get some emojis put together. Cole's going to help me. He says it's easy. He's just going to do it for me, and we're going to get up. I don't understand the speed bump in the middle of the bag blade. That is a compound grind blade. I can explain to you what it's for. It was for puncturing armor. So there's a lot of knives that have that. It's compound grind, nightmare grind. This one has it. So what you have is two completely different grinds. You have a shallower grind here and a thicker grind here. What you get is cutting potential, but you have a thicker tip for puncturing without damaging the blade. And then you have this area back here that's thinner. So this is thicker here than this is here. It's kind of the same thing. And it gives you, they call it a nightmare grind on this one, but it's technically a compound grind, and they really don't serve that much of a purpose these days. But back in the day, it was used because that way the tip of the sword or the tip of the knife was reinforced. One of my actual Japanese swords has what's called miku at the front of the blade, which means it's a little thicker at the tip. And it doesn't come down, so it's a little heavier. So it was used for, like, it's got that thicker area where the two come together. And that gives you a little bit of extra weight at the front for swinging and hitting armor, but it also gives you more support at the tip for piercing armor. And that's why they had it. And it goes back to medieval days, but it is striking. And you can see where the edge thickens, where that grind transitions, where you can see there's thinner grind. And then right there at that point, you can see where my bevel thickens. So, Brant's here. Hey, Brant, what's going on? But that's all a compound. That's all. The compound grind is a little bit different than a tanto. This is more akin to a true Japanese tanto than Americanized tanto. So that's pretty much it. Anyone ever pass out at the bathhouse? Yes. My brother-in-law got drunk and we were in there and it's hot and he passed out in the steam room. Not steam room. He got up and got out and passed out getting out of the steam room because he was drunk and he'd overheated. Yeah, it happens occasionally. It happens. One of my favorite things is coming out of the steam room and then so right outside of the steam room is a super cold, like 2-degree bath, like 2 degrees, like 0 is freezing, right? 2 degrees. And you come right out of that and you just, you can't breathe. Like you can't think. Like you're like, and I will get out of the steam bath and I'll get in it and I'll sit in it and I will cool way off and then I'll go get another bath. So shut it down and go spend time with your girls. I got a few minutes. She doesn't go to bed till 10. I just wanted like the last 30 minutes to spend some time with her. So I get to see her all day tomorrow. I'm probably taking her skating tomorrow. I'm going to try and get something filmed. Like I said, here's the deal. So that you guys know, for those of you that remember, I see there's a few of you. I'm going to mention it again. I'm not going to put anything up for early access this week. And we're going to see how this works. Jared, I'll send you a message about it later. Like I said, a very large channel reached out to me and told me, he's like, you're putting up stuff for your members days early, right? And I said, yes. And he said, well, you need to stop that because basically what you have is a video that's sitting there for 48 hours that has 7 views. And when that video premieres, it doesn't matter how many views it gets. It's already flagged as a poor performing video and YouTube's not going to push it up the algorithm. So what we're going to do is for a little while, we're just going to upload the video the morning of for the premiere. And the first people who get to see it is everyone. So we may have to address that in the membership stuff because It appears that even though YouTube's like, oh, give them early access, they're not doing you any favors when it comes to the algorithm. So if you had to do a routine, what song does Mike skate to? Cadillac Ranch. Yeah. Cadillac Ranch. Cadillac Ranch or... Yeah, I'd have to say Cadillac Ranch. That's about it. No, not Freebird. I'm not that big. I'm not that big of a fan. I'm not. I like some of it. Cadillac Ranch or... Oh, let me think. Got to bring that shock factor. Yeah, Cadillac Ranch. I think that would have to be it. That would be it. Well, guys, she's my cherry. No, I'm sorry. I can't. No, stop. You're horrible. Nutcracker. You're horrible, Patina. You're horrible, and I dig it. Guys, I'm going to get off of here. I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. It's just so hard to do exclusive videos. That's my only problem is doing the exclusive videos. I haven't done one in a while. Typically it's B-roll. I need to do some exclusive stuff. I do all kinds of shit around the shop, and what I should be doing is just filming it in like time lapse, like filming me while I'm sharpening and tearing down and breaking down and cleaning up and stuff like that, and just little stuff. Hot for Teacher. That's a good one. That is a good one. I did forget about Hot for Teacher. This Cowboys hat. That's another one I would do. Anyway, guys, I got to go. And that is not how you spell Van Halen. You need to go smack yourself in the face for that. I want you to go eat soap. Like put soap in your go. Guys, I love you all. Take it easy. I will see you next time. Hey, Dave, before we go, Dave, have you gotten to see the new countdown for the videos? Just out of curiosity, Dave, because I know you keep coming in late. Have you got to see the new countdown for the live feeds? Because if you haven't, I'll end on the countdown just for Dave, because Dave never gets to come in on time. He always winds up working or some other shit. And he's got a wife too. I know how that is. Like, I don't want to do this, but I've got other stuff to do. So Dave, if you haven't, okay. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the countdown, and what it's going to be, it's a countdown to me leaving. So here you go, Dave. 2A Dave, just for you. This is the new countdown for the live feeds. And then I'm going to log out as soon as it hits 0.
29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14. 13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2.
1. 0.